Bill. Um, I'm not going to talk specifically about any trade today, but what I want to talk about is the ability to find trades. Because I get that question a lot from my students. Um, how do I know when to get in a trade? And it's basically a learned skill. And what you have to do is you have to put in the screen time. You have to put in and look at uh, pricing as it happens uh, on your screen by the instruments. Each instrument trades very, very differently, which is another thing that I try to teach my students. Oil and gold tend to be very volatile. Um, the pound trades pretty steady Eddie-ish. Same with the euro. So I always try to steer people towards those two instruments when they're first learning. But it never fails. They always, they have the stars in their eyes and they always like to go for the oil or the gold, and then they get their butts kicked and either flame out or put their tails between their legs and then finally do what I told them to do. Anyway, so here's what I typically do when I'm trying to find a trade, and I hope it helps you learn how to do it as well. So right now we've got the euro up here in the upper left hand corner. We've got oil down here in the lower left corner. We've got gold, and we've got the pound on the right. A couple things I want to point out. Absolutely nothing going on in the euro. Okay, we're in the middle of basically the house. We're above the floor and below the ceiling, and we're also in a cloud. So there's nothing to do on this one. So that one immediately gets eliminated. Same with gold. Gold's in a cloud, so we don't want to do anything about that. Also, you'll notice the profit pivot lines are starting to invert. What that means is there's been enough range in the day to really push those lines around. As you can see, there was a big blip here, and I'm guessing that's the high and low point of the day. So there's almost 100 ticks of movement right in that blip right there. So basically this one's off the table. So the only two that we have to look at here are oil and the pound. Oil firsthand is the one that's still in what I would call pretty clean form, because the profit pivot lines have not inverted yet. You don't have a huge range for the day, only about 68 ticks. We're in between the ceiling and the roof profit pivot line. Ideally, if you could wait till it pierces this one before you take your trade, that would probably have the highest likelihood of success. Although here, you've already pierced the roof, or excuse me, the ceiling, and if this one turns red, you could take that as well. The pound, the profit pivot lines are inverting, so you've got a pretty good range here, 121 ticks. That's a lot for the pound. That doesn't happen very often. So it's above this roof profit pivot line, but notice that the floor has already inverted up here, so you're going to get a lot of weird signals here. It may bounce between these two back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, which is typically what happens when this kind of a situation arises. So right now I'm not seeing any really good trades. Okay, so I went and took a nap because I need my beauty sleep. The older I get, the more I need. And lo and behold, here's what happened. If you remember, I said probably the only one out of the bunch here that had anything cooking was oil, and that turned out to be the case. The euro is still putzing along, gold's still doing a whole bunch of nothing. The pound just has stayed hovering up here in the highs and not done much else. But as you can see, oil has done well. And I'm not going to make it bigger, I'll just tell you on this. And exactly as I said would happen, if you were patient and you waited for it to pierce up through the ceiling or the roof profit pivot line, roof, ceiling, started to invert a little bit, floor got above the ceiling. If you would have gone short on actually either one of these, if you had gone short on this bar here, or even this bar here, you would have done quite well. So hope that helps in having you figure out how to pick trades, and I'll be back at you again maybe later this week if I have some time.